The 1990s are a decade that I often find myself reminiscing of. Even though I was only born in 96, being born in 96 meant that all of the technology that I knew, all of the movies that I knew, all the television shows that I knew really came rooted in the 1990s. And in 1995, there was a little movie that came out from writer director Kevin Smith called Mallrats that shocked the world with how bad they thought it was. But was it really bad? Well, as producer Jim Jacks would later state, Mallrats wasn't a bad movie. It was just early. And here we are almost 30 years on to the film's life cycle, and Arrow Video has come at us with yet another release of this cult classic film, which at this point, in my opinion, it's beyond cult classic. It's to the point where it's near mainstream now, if not already busted through the mainstream. And they gave us this awesome edition of Mallrats in 4K with this really cool slipcover, which is exclusive to the Arrow shop. So we're going to talk about this as well as compare it to its Blu-ray counterpart, which Arrow released in 2020. What this has that this is missing, what this has that this is missing. So, bonus features. Let's talk bonus features first. This has all of the same bonus features, and I'm going to read them real quick. I don't typically like being the guy that reads all the bonus features, but I know that most people probably would want me to read it to them if they don't already have the Blu-ray. Um, so we have an original DTS HD MA 5.1 surround sound audio. Then there's an audio commentary with Kevin Smith, Scott Mosier, archivist Vincent Pereira, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and actors Jason Lee, Ben Affleck, and Jason Mewes. An introduction to the film by Kevin Smith, which is a newly filmed. It was filmed in 2020 when the Blu-ray came out. That was one that it's new Kevin Smith. You know, hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, and the blazer and all that stuff. Which is really neat to see that they got him to come back. This whole the whole 4K scan that the Blu-ray is based on, and obviously this is on, was approved by Kevin. It comes with My Mallrat Memories, an interview with an interview with Kevin Smith. Mr. Mallrats, a tribute to Jim Jacks by Kevin Smith, which I watched that last night, and it about made me cry. That's one of the first features I think you should all watch. Blunt Talk, an interview with actor Jason Mewes. When We Were Punks, an interview with cinematographer David Klein. Hollywood of the North, an animated making-of documentary featuring Minnesota crew members who worked on the film. Deleted scenes. Kevin Smith and Vincent Pereira discuss deleted scenes and sequences originally cut from the film. Outtakes and behind-the-scenes footage. Cast interviews from the original set. Erection of an Epic. The Making of Mallrats. Archival retrospective and cast and crew looking at the making of the release of the film. Q&A with Kevin Smith, archival Q&A filmed for the 10th anniversary, Build Me Up Buttercup music video, stills gallery, and theatrical trailer. And then on the second disc, we have, it's also in 5.1 surround with the optional subtitles and all that for the deaf and hard of hearing. Archival introduction to the extended cut by Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier. This is the same extended cut introduction that they did for I believe it was the 10th or 15th anniversary DVD many years ago. So on that one, it's very interesting to go back because you're viewing old Kevin Smith. Even before hockey jersey Kevin Smith, you're seeing, I think it's baseball jersey Kevin Smith that says "Daddy" on it, which is it's very interesting. He seems to evolve like a Pokemon throughout his years. This set is really awesome. I watched the director's cut last night. I personally am a director's cut fanboy for this movie. I do appreciate and love the theatrical cut. I grew up on the theatrical cut, but once I got this Blu-ray and I saw the director's cut for the first time, I was absolutely blown away by it. So the reason that these two cuts are so different between the theatrical and the extended director's cut is it actually pretty much changes the entire reasoning for TS and Brandy's breakup. In the theatrical cut, TS tells a girl who Brandy's father is going to have on his game show that the camera adds about 10 or so pounds to the person. Well, that girl had a weight problem in high school, so she went down to the YMCA and swam, and on her 700th lap, she had a brain aneurysm and died. So this pissed Mr. Spinning off, of course, and it made Brandy CTS as being insensitive, and they broke up. And then, it ensues that they go and through the mall and try to get their girls back and all that. But in the director's cut, there's about 15 extra minutes of footage at the beginning that adds more context to TS and Brandy's relationship, which is very, very, very interesting because that extra bonus footage acts as a completely different story. There was no reasoning behind Brandy being on there because of a girl dying. It wasn't that. Mr. Svenning always intended Brandy to be on there as a way to get her to find a good man to break, so she would break up with TS. In the director's cut at the beginning, Brandy's outside stargazing outside of their college, and Mr. Svenning is putting on a fundraiser to try to raise the money for his game show. And TS comes up to her, and he's in the historical drama club, and they're doing a reenactment of some kind of Revolutionary War type thing, and he's or a play about Paul Revere, I believe it was, and he's dressed as a revolutionary soldier, and he's got a musket, and they're up there fooling around and teasing each other, and he gets the musket tangled in Brandy's hair. Well, down below is the governor with Mr. Svenning and two of her Secret Service agents, and they think that they're trying to take a shot at the governor. They push Mr. Svenning over onto the governor, and she gets really pissed about that. Governess is not too happy about that, and the whole ordeal makes Mr. Svenning lose out on all the money and everything. It's never really explained how he gets the money to fund the TV show again after that, but he does. But yeah, it adds a lot more context. So it also changes up dialogue throughout because instead of them referencing that TS told that girl that the camera adds 50 pounds or whatever, it references, hey, I heard you're the guy that shot the governor, or I heard you're the guy that kidnapped the president's daughter, because it just keeps getting out of blown. It completely changes the context of TS and Brandy's relationship. And I really, really, really appreciate that. It's one of those movies that the director's cut is so different than the theatrical cut. So let's talk quality of the 4K disc, and then we're going to get into the unboxing. The quality of this disc is incredible. Let me tell you, Mallrats has no freaking business looking this good. This is honestly one of the best 4K scans I have ever seen in my life, comparatively. Now, are there better 4K discs out there like Top Gun Maverick or Jaws or Blade Runner? Probably, yeah. But when you look at this little movie from 1995 that was a comedy movie with like, what, 150 some $1,000 budget, it has no business looking this great. But there are some caveats. So this movie is obviously a movie that was built in the heart of the 1990s where everything was neon and vibrant. Well, to me, the HDR on this movie, you kind of lose some of that. Yes, the colors on the movie are way deeper and the aesthetic is darker. And while you get more resolution in general, you lose that vibrant feel of the movie. The Blu ray captures that vibrant feel very well. The DVD even captured that vibrant feel very well, but the Blu ray really captures that vibrant feel. Everything looks so bright and colorful. Whereas on the HDR, yes, the colors are more rich, but they are darker. And to me, for a movie that's set in a mall in the 1990s where there's all sorts of different crazy lightings and all, it's like all super colorful, a lot of reds and greens and blues in the mall. They all, you just kind of lose that. But if you can get over that, the disc is technically impressive. It's absolutely the best Mallrats has ever looked. I think it would just be preference. It would really be up to your preference. So let's get into the unboxing now that we got the technical stuff out of the way. This version is the Arrow Shop exclusive. The only way to get this slipcover is you have to order from Arrow's like US store online. Now, if you order from anywhere else, or you can order this version on Arrow's US store, but if you order this from Amazon over at DVD, Diabolic DVD, you're going to get this version, which this is just the Blu-ray, but you're going to get a 4K version with this slipcover, this artwork. And the slipcover is really the only thing that's different as far as I know. There are some differences in packaging between the 4K and the Blu-ray, but I'm not 100% sure if this Arrow exclusive edition comes with different stuff than the other non-exclusive edition of the 4K. I'm pretty sure it's all the same. It's just the slipcover is the only thing because online it says limited edition slipcover. But so opening it up, we have our case with our cover art. Now, this is the reversible cover art. I've mentioned in past videos before that I am a sucker for original poster art, and I'm also a sucker for a reversible sleeve. So, since I already have this edition, this is the artwork that's on the main artwork on this, and this is the reversible. So, since I already have this with this artwork, I went ahead and just reversed it on this side, and then there you have your back. Typical arrow tells you your limited edition contents disc, theatrical cut, disc 2 extended cut. Oh, that's another big difference that I forgot to tell you guys about. I'm glad I looked at the back of this. I completely forgot to mention that this 4K version is missing the TV cut. That is the biggest difference in the two editions. I cannot believe I forgot that. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, so this Blu-ray has the TV cut on it. The second disc, it's a 2 disc. So the first disc is theatrical with all the bonus features. The second disc is the extended cut and the TV cut. What is the TV cut? The TV cut is a hilarious cut. It's absolutely hilarious that Arrow did not go back and redo this one in 4K, though I can understand why. But the TV cut is like they take all of the curse words and stuff and they mix them around to, like, it's not bleeping them out. They just make them say something different. If you've ever seen the Big Lebowski TV cut, it's kind of like when Walter says, "You see what happens when you f a stranger in the A." Instead, he says, "You see what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps," which is just hilarious and it's meme worthy. And they did that treatment to Mallrats. So yeah, the 4K does not include the TV cut, which to me, I kind of feel like is a little bit of a rip, but I understand it because these are on 4K discs. That does not have they didn't do the 4K scan of that. That cut is not approved by Kevin Smith. It's just the theatrical or the 4K cut of the theatrical version. Then they also remove things like the boobs and stuff, and the fortune teller, and also the boobs of Joey Lauren Adams. So they remove that stuff too. So it's like a TV-14 cut. But yeah, I cannot believe I forgot that. Anyway, moving on. So we open it up, and this is what it looks like on the inside. Disc art. This is the theatrical, and that's the extended cut. I love a good disc art. I'm a sucker for it. This is a key difference. The 4K comes with this business card from Fashionable Mail. Shannon Hamilton, manager from Eden Prairie Mall, 37 Eden Prairie Drive, number 58. On the back, it says the quote, "I have no respect for people with no shopping agenda." This is just a really cool. It's a cheap little goodie, but it's really cool to have. The Blu-ray does not come with that. Then we have our booklet. Now this booklet does have different cover art than the Blu-ray's booklet, and it's kind of interesting because the booklet for the Blu-ray is actually the slipcover for this limited edition Arrow 4K. So they gave us a different style booklet. Now, as far as I can tell, the booklets are identical except for, strangely enough, the cover pages. So this is the booklet for the Blu-ray, and you can see the contents writing is over Silent Bob. And this is the one for the 4K, and the contents is over J. I don't know why they did that, which shows me that they definitely did, like, this is not just it's not the exact same book with a reprinted cover. Like they completely put it back into production. So that's neat that they did go ahead and put it back into production, didn't just use a bunch of leftover ones. But looking through, as far as I can tell, the rest of the books are completely identical. You're not losing or gaining anything there. There's no new writings or anything like that on the new 4K edition. Another thing that you get that the Blu-ray does not get, and this is something too. This and the business card here are two things I was wondering if maybe these were actually exclusive to this particular limited edition slipcover version, because I'm not sure. I think they probably come in the in the regular 4K as well. But this is super cool, and I am actually going to frame this and hang it up. I love it. You get a map of the Eden Prairie Mall, but that's not even the coolest part. Yes, this is super cool, but that is not the coolest part. The coolest part is you flip it over, and you get a bunch of like advertisements for like that you would see in a mall, like on a mall poster. So we got Quick Stop, we got Movies, and there's all sorts of different references. RST Video from Clerks. Let's see, the Route One Flea Market, which is what they that's what they go to, the dirt mall they go to in the movie. Miss Ivana, Trisha Jones, an advertisement for her book. So yeah, this is just super cool. I love this little poster. I am going to definitely, this is going to get hung up and framed um, over behind me. You can see I got a few posters framed up there. So this is definitely one that's going to be going on the wall. Moving on, the last thing that you get as far as physical goodies go is the blueprints, which also came with the Blu-ray for the one where they go to the fly fat ass fly plan, and then also where they whack LaFours with the sack of quarters. So that also comes with the Blu-ray, and I think what I might do, since it's reversible, double-sided, and I have two of these now, since one's in the Blu-ray, I might frame them both on double sides and hang them both up, which would be pretty sick. That might be some reasons for you collectors out there, if you want to own both, to have both editions. And there you have it. There is my official review of Mallrats in 4K. There's not a whole lot else to say about the movie. It's a great movie. I love it. I think that this movie, I agree with Jim Jacks. It was not a bad movie. It was an early movie because 30 years on, geek culture runs the world. And we have talked about this more in depth. I will let you know this same very conversation over on my podcast. I'm going to use this to plug this podcast here. My podcast, Masters of Matinee. You can listen to the whole thing over on Masters of Matinee YouTube channel, on Google Podcasts, and on Spotify. But yeah, this awesome edition. Like I said, there are some pros, there are some cons. Would I personally upgrade to the 4K? I mean, I did, but I'll tell you, I did because Kevin Smith is my absolute favorite. He's my end all be all of filmmaking. So I upgraded this solely because it was another Kevin Smith thing to add to the collection. If I wasn't huge on Kevin Smith and I already had this Blu-ray, I don't know if there's enough found here to make me want to upgrade, especially with the loss of the TV cut. Like I said, I will reiterate that the film looks better than it ever has, but with some sacrifices, and like you're losing that vibrancy that it's almost like a vibe. It's a vibe. It's a vibrant vibe that you're kind of losing with it, because the HDR does kind of, though you get the deeper tones, it makes them darker, and it just kind of loses it a little bit. So thanks for watching, everybody. I've been JT the Talking Head. You have been the audience. Remember to follow me over on TikTok at JT the Talking Head, on Letterboxd at JT Talking Head, and follow Masters of Matinee on the platforms that I listed before: YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts. We're always talking about really cool stuff over there. I've got a rotating cast of guest hosts with me, and it's always a blast to talk about that stuff. And I know that Kevin Smith gets brought up fairly often on that show. So come and join us over on our awesome TikTok community. Everybody's welcome. We're always having a great time over there, and thank you again for watching. So one last time, I will reiterate. Final thoughts. This is great. This is great. Whichever you choose to watch is your preference. Or you could watch it how I usually choose to watch it.
True story. He bought it at our local mall, so the whole fiasco wound up on the news. It was embarrassing for my relatives and all, but the next week, he did it again. Different cat, same results, complete with another trip to the emergency room. So I run into him a week later in the mall, and he's buying another cat. And I says to him, "Jesus, Walt, what are you doing? You know you're just going to get this cat stuck in your ass too. Why don't you knock it off?" And he said to me, "Brody, how the hell else am I supposed to get the gerbil out?" My cousin was a weird guy.
I think I'm going to be sick. I think I'm going to be sick. So I'm watching this Arrow video 4K of Mallrats, which Mallrats is one of my favorite movies, and I noticed something new. So you guys remember, would you like a chocolate-covered pretzel?
Say, would you like a chocolate-covered pretzel? They're a little melty, but damn are they exquisite. And if I remember correctly, you're a big pretzel fan.
Dark chocolate.
Yeah?
No, no.
Oh, come on.
No,
They're
no,
awesome.
please. No.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Mmm.
Oh. Yes. Oh, good. Very nice.
And then you remember the scene where Brody meets Stan Lee.
Oh my God. Holy shit! Aren't you?
Oh, Stanley. Hi.
Well, assuming from the time that the stink palm happened in the Would You Like a Chocolate Covered Pretzel scene with Mr. Svenning, between that scene and the scene where Brody meets Stan Lee, let's just assume that Brody Man's not really the type of guy who's of the most clean nature. And let's just assume he probably didn't wash his hands, and even if he did wash his hands, he shakes Stan's hand with the same hand that he stink palmed Svenning with. Bro. The same hand. Oh, poor Stan. Excelsior and stink palm.